Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Gamera, Guardian of the Universe. For these titans of the kaiju film industry, their movies have reached a legendary status across the globe, yet they've never crossed paths. With such a monstrous travesty, I ask on this day of terror, what if Gamera was in the Godzilla universe? Now, this is not a rare occurrence within Toho Kingdom's KWC, where they've met numerous times in a plethora of well-written matches accompanied by fantastic artwork. Oh god, I really can't stop shilling, can I? My sulking aside, let's continue with What If Gamera Was in the Godzilla Universe Part 3. In the last part, Gamera overcame MechaGodzilla without destroying the mech, while Godzilla rose from the dead. Seeking vengeance, the King of the Monsters instead found Gamera protecting little Godzilla, leading Godzilla to take the small creature without enacting his revenge. Humanity, Gamera, and Godzilla entered a year-long peace merely for the death of Mothra in deep space sent by Mickey to forewarn a new cosmic terror. Unlike the last film this part is based off of, Godzilla vs. SPACEGODZILLA, the mind control plotline is enacted as Asagi, an adept student of Mickey's institute, is successful in making Mickey more bold in her decision-making. She adamantly refuses to nurture the project, killing it in its infancy. But unlike that plotline, Super MechaGodzilla is still alive and kicking from the last part, meaning no Mogera. Lastly, Yuki's blood-clotting bullet research could still have happened, but with Godzilla Jr. now on Birth Island instead of a more passive little Godzilla, he'd probably be killed rather quickly. So what does remain the same? Well, Birth Island's assault. From the heavens, a crystal terror descends upon the isolated Pacific atoll. Juvenile reptilian eyes narrow. A battle cry from Godzilla Jr. marks his desire for battle. But look, even with the power boost of being Junior instead of Little, he's absolutely no match, drawing the attention of Godzilla to the intergalactic abomination. One made not only of cells of Godzilla, but Gamera as well. Space Gomira, or just Gomira for short. To those curious at how this aberration formed, G cells are exposed to the radioactive properties of a black and white hole. I know, birthing this cosmic horror. However, with Gamera's inclusion, the cells which Mothra carried into space were not Godzilla's alone. Now, as to why only Godzilla and Gamera cells survive, well, to survive the trek, one would assume the cells need a robustness that creatures like Mothra and Batra didn't possess, or else we would have seen their traits in SPACEGODZILLA as well. With a near equal healing factor and designed to evolve by his original creators, I mean they made dozens of the turtle to get him right. I believe Gamera cells, just like the crystals SPACEGODZILLA hybridized into its genetic makeup, would be assimilated by the G cells. Put simply, the chassis is still Godzilla, but Gamera cells and the crystals are like fancy add-ons. After Godzilla Jr. is sealed within a crystal prison, Gomira and Godzilla trade blows, but the space horror's focus is on future pursuits. With a malevolent roar, the entity departs with Godzilla hot on its heels. Now, this commotion quickly attracts the attention of a few parties. For one, Mickey, who realizes the intention of the cosmic entity and drives to the Japanese Self-Defense Force headquarters to inform them of the situation, the Japanese Self-Defense Force themselves, who scramble jets, and Gamera. A fierce dogfight rages over the Pacific. Missiles and plasma fireballs race toward the invader. Yet more often than not, Gomira proves too maneuverable to pin down. And while the entity's natural electromagnetic pulse can't hurt Gamera as it did Mogera, jets begin to fall like rain, leaving the Guardian of the Universe as the sole adversary in the skies of the Pacific. Before long, Gamera joins humanity and plummets to a thunderous splash, allowing Gomira to dive into Japan's southernmost waters without interference. The momentary few-day-long lull allows the upgrades to begin on MechaGodzilla. These enhancements primarily focus on shielding to ensure the mech can tango with Gomira's electromagnetic pulse. Also, as Mickey informs the government of the origin of this monstrosity plaguing their coast, the dire peril Japan faces makes Mickey relive a soul-crushing choice from her past. Will she join MechaGodzilla? Because from the Self-Defense Force's view, theoretically this hybrid still has the same second brain as Godzilla. Due to Gamera's interference, the G-Crusher was never used against, but with Mickey's possible entry onto the crew, the possibility of deploying said weapon would be on the table. Mickey's decision is not instant, nor is it without regret. If this was Godzilla, she'd dismiss this in a heartbeat. But sensing this evil of this spaceborne abomination and knowing it killed Mothra and the cosmos leads her to accept the offer. Mickey is once again a part of the MechaGodzilla crew, and just in time. From the depths of Tokyo, Gomira arises with destructive fury. The heart of Japan goes black. A crystalline fortress arises and the space aberration's plane of dominance begins. You could say the initial fights with Godzilla and Gamera were to stoke anger within them and prove Gomira's worth as a rival. Now, the two are going to be drawn to him and they're going to be fighting on his homemade home turf. Now, Fukuoka isn't chosen for two primary reasons. One, thanks to Gamera's genes, Gomira doesn't need a tower to act as a focal point when he himself can act as the beacon to siphon the world's mana and channel cosmic power. Also two, with Gamera's intelligence, I think Gomira would also realize humanity's ability to threaten him. Therefore, he would go after a larger population center. But I mean, humans at the end of the day are still small and weak. What could they possibly bring? Oh, right. Super MechaGodzilla descends upon Gomira's crystalline fortress, and the pair proceed with an all-encompassing destructive light show. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking. Well, Mogera lost to SPACEGODZILLA, and he was MechaGodzilla's superior, so MechaGodzilla is toast, right? Well, no. In every meaningful statistic, Super MechaGodzilla actually counters what Gomira can dish out. Having spent a year learning from their mistakes, humanity would have upgraded MechaGodzilla's diamond exterior to counter Gamera's concussive plasma after the Guardian defeated their prized mech. The enhancements translate to a greater heat tolerance, greater deflection against explosive ordnance, and when faced with the plasma spewing a galactic abomination, a near-limitless fuel source to draw from. With the crew also more experienced in this timeline, they aren't going to brazenly charge for a near-worthless melee attack like Mogera. Super MechaGodzilla at range has the definitive edge in this initial brawl, putting Gomira on the back foot. The crew grow more tenacious by every second, thinking of closing the distance and using the G-Crusher to kill Gomira, but Mickey holds them back. She can sense Gomira isn't using his full power, but storing energy for something else. And as Gamera arrives, they quickly realize why. Gamera unleashes a torrent of fire upon his arrival, descending to join humanity in their struggle merely for Gomira to seem enthralled by this revelation. The space terror's abdomen parts, the sky visibly swirls with golden light. A wave of energy surges forth, and just as quickly as Gamera arrives, he's overtaken by Gomira's mana beam, reducing the terrapin to a charred corpse. MechaGodzilla's crew is taken aback by Gamera's apparent death. Even Mickey can't understand why Gomira didn't use the mana beam against MechaGodzilla until the ground begins to tremble. Human and alien eyes shift to the coastline, where crystalline entities begin to dredge themselves from the depths. The failed projects that eventually spawned Gamera, the skeletons which originally laid at the bottom of Japan's southernmost coast, lumber by the dozens toward their master. These crystal Gameras are thanks in part to Gamera's mana manipulation. By fusing the life-giving properties of the Earth's energy and his own crystalline abilities, the Abomination brought these horrid hybrids to life. Also keep in mind, unlike Gamera, who is more reserved in using the Earth's mana, because the more you use, the greater the drawback is on the Earth itself, Gomira isn't holding back on his use of mana, and we do know that crystal hybrids can occur thanks in part to the game Godzilla Unleashed. But more on that particular title in a bit. Humanity's final hope unleashes torrents of energy upon the crystalline sea. However, for every undead Gamera that is blasted apart, two more take their place. Crystalline claws crash down upon MechaGodzilla, and with a thunderous quake, the machine falls before the army of Gomira. The leader trembles the heavens with its malevolent cackling, taking pride of its accomplishments. The Earth will see that Gomira is truly the dominant life! Oh, yeah, right, I forgot about him. Godzilla thunderously bypasses the army, heading straight for Gomira to kill the cosmic terror that locked up Jr. Gomira accepts the challenge from his lesser, and the pair enter a fierce duel of wills, while MechaGodzilla keeps getting the shit kicked out of it. Close quarters combat just isn't his thing. With warning lights cascading across MechaGodzilla, all signs point to the crew's destruction in mere moments. Mickey, like the rest of the crew, is in a state of panic, yet as she's about to accept her demise, a foreign voice intermingles with her thoughts of fear. A female voice, Asagi's, the words, faint yet growing, a simple request, yet seemingly impossible. Get to Gamera. Mickey screams over wailing horns of imminent destruction merely for her words to fall on deaf ears. Taking to heart Asagi's determination once more, the psychic telekinetically moves MechaGodzilla's controls, blasting the machine off the ground toward Gamera. With a bit of luck, the machine lands on two legs beside Gamera's apparent corpse and uses what little energy it has left to slaughter two crystal Gameras. White and golden light envelop the machine and terrapin alike, but the horde proves unrelenting until the specks begin to swirl, flowing into Gamera, who rises from his charred husk-like state. Whenever truly dead, this turtle did survive, albeit barely a nuke to the face, but with a fresh source of life-giving energy to draw from, the strength to fight returns in full. The Guardian of the Universe immediately goes on the attack, carving through every crystalline doppelganger in his way, gaining strength with every kill. Now Gomira, who at this point would have been placing his reptilian heel somewhere between Godzilla's lungs and colon, immediately focuses on the born-again Terrapin. The cosmic terror's steady inflow of mana now has another being interrupting said influx of power. Sure, he can continually siphon cosmic energy, but the thought of another being contesting him, one he thought he obliterated prior, drives Gomira to rage. With a crack forming in the Space Terror's pride, Gomira momentarily moves to address his failed execution, but the King of the Monsters interrupts with blasts of atomic fire. While definitely on the back foot, Godzilla is not going to accept being second fiddle. Until he can't stand, he's Gomira's one and only dance partner, which the space doppelganger begrudgingly accepts. A vicious duel of melee erupts between the pair before Gomira finally flings Godzilla away using his telekinetic powers. Malevolent eyes focus, fires dance within cosmic pupils. But the source is not the city he beset, but the monster dwelling amidst the rubble. As the last cosmic spawn falls, Gamera, burning with cosmic energy in a state of critical mass, finally faces his universal rival. Why critical mass? Well, we see in the games that absorbing too much crystal power causes the reaction for any monster, even low-tier beasts like Varan. Speaking of, with his keen senses, the Guardian of the Universe would know how Gomira is gaining power. Unleashing a supercharged fireball unlike any before, one of the Titan's crystals shatters to pieces. Engulfed in pain, Gomira is helpless to hold the second sphere of plasma, which shatters his other remaining shoulder crystal. The Space Titan isn't cut off from his supply of energy, but he's unable to control the flow. Immense power surges within him, and he enters a life or death battle with critical mass Gamera. Even as each suffer horrendous wounds, neither are willing to give in until a spiral ray ends their duel. Godzilla, having absorbed enough power through the surrounding crystals to unlock his ultimate technique, fires another spiral ray, knocking the hellish creature to the ground and allowing Gamera the opening he needs to obliterate the space tyrant once and for all, ending his reign in a city-shaking fireball. Silence, the first in hours, falls upon the city of Tokyo, and the survivors dwelling within it. MechaGodzilla and its crew again watch as Gamera and Godzilla glare at one another, worried the battle to defeat Gomira was merely a prelude to the Titan's own war. But like the last part of this series, each departs without provoking the other. Dawn's light radiates with a bittersweet glow for Mickey. Gomira is no more, his intentions for world conquest nothing but flickering ash. MechaGodzilla and its crew are safe. Godzilla Jr. and Gamera all survived, but remain trails to all that was lost. Mothra, the cosmos, the Earth's mana, and most importantly, hundreds if not thousands of lives. Perhaps her doubt was unwarranted, but a single nightmare lingers at the edge of her mind. What could spawn from such a loss? Hope you guys enjoyed the third part of this series. I'll be honest, what ifs are immensely time consuming, and for those wondering where they are on this channel, I just don't have the time like I used to. But fear not, other 151 content should be returning, and who knows, I might do this for April 1st if it does get the views, likes, and subscriptions. So please, hit that like button, do subscribe, and all that jazz. Until then, I'm Greyshot151. I look forward to your comments below, and I will see you all next time. Until then, catch y'all later.
Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, BigChuche, Aphyria, Ace, PyroShark, Tony B95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support in helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.